name is Jessie from Out to Lunch Creations, and today we're going to make carrot molasses muffins. I love to juice, and carrot juice is one of my favorite juices, but I hate throwing away the pulp because it seems like such a waste. So that's why I created this recipe that uses carrot pulp. So it's a way to use it up without throwing it in the garbage. If you don't juice, then you can just use grated carrots and it will work just fine too. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to preheat our oven to 350. Then we're going to line a muffin tin with 12 spots with either silicone paper or grease it with coconut oil. I like to use the silicone ones because they're reusable and they make it really easy just to take them right out of the pan. So for this recipe you can use 2 regular eggs or you can make it vegan and use 2 chia eggs. So to do that you get some chia seeds and take 2 tablespoons and throw them in a coffee grinder, magic bullet, whatever you've got, and grind them up into a powder, which is going to look kind of like this. And you can use white chia seeds, black chia seeds, doesn't matter. And then you're going to add 6 tablespoons of warm water to the chia seeds. So I've measured it out already and I'll add it in. And then I'm just going to mix it around. And after a while, we're going to set this aside and it's going to start to congeal and gel, and it's what's going to bind our muffins together. So it's actually already starting. So you can see here the chia seeds have absorbed the water and they're kind of jelly and gooey. And this is going to be a great way to bind our muffin without using any egg. The next thing we're going to do is mix our dry ingredients. So we're going to grab a nice big bowl, and first thing we'll add is 2 cups of spelt flour. I like to use spelt flour because it's an ancient grain. It has a little bit less gluten than regular whole wheat or white flour. But if you have a gluten allergy, you want to stick to the gluten-free flour blend. So that's 2 cups. The next thing we're going to add is 1/4 of a cup of walnuts. Now I like to grind them in the same thing I use to grind the chia seeds because this makes the walnut flavor distributed evenly throughout the whole muffin. So I've actually gone ahead and done that, and we got almost a walnut flour. So I'll dump that in. Next I'm going to add the baking soda and the salt. So in here I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And finally I'm going to add some ginger. This gives it a bit of a zing. I'm going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon. This is a new bottle. Tricked me. So I'm going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon. Now I'm just going to stir up my dry ingredients, and for this I like to use a whisk to make sure there's no clumps. So you can see there are a couple little clumps in here. Those are really just walnut pieces that didn't blend up and grind as well as the other ones, so we're not really too worried because the whisk will get most of them out. So now it's time to mix up the wet ingredients. So I'll grab a smaller bowl for this because we're going to end up adding these to the dry ingredients. So the first thing we're going to use is 1/2 cup of molasses. Now this is the only sweetener sugar we're going to use in these muffins, which makes it really healthy. There's no white or refined sugar. The molasses just gives it such a great flavor and goes really well with the carrots and the ginger. Next thing we're going to add is 1/2 cup of almond milk. Now again, you can use milk, but if you want to keep it vegan, go with the almond milk. And then we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of coconut oil. Now coconut oil is great because we're actually adding 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil. And it's great because it's a good substitute for butter and it's a whole lot healthier. And you want to make sure it's kind of soft, almost melted, so you can just pour it right in. And finally we're going to add some vanilla, about 1/2 teaspoon. Perfect. Now we'll take the same whisk we used for the dry ingredients, give it a shake, and whisk these ones up. So now we're going to finally add the chia egg, which is quite congealed now. Spoon it out. You can see how gluey it got. It's absolutely perfect. And then we'll just whisk it all together and get everything nice and mixed. Okay, so now it's time to add the wet ingredients to the dry. So here's our dry, and this is lovely dark liquid we'll just drizzle in. And then we'll start mixing it with a whisk. If it gets too tough, we can use a wooden spoon. The whisk is really the best way to get all the clumps out. We make sure we get a nice smooth muffin. So you can see the molasses gives it this nice, rich, dark color, which actually works out really well. If you decide you don't want to use carrot pulp and you want to use green pulp, you can't even tell because it's so dark. You can trick anybody into eating it. They won't even know they're getting their veggies. So the batter is quite thick now. So now what we'll do is we'll fold in 1 cup of carrot pulp. Again, you can use 1 cup of grated carrots if you don't want to use carrot pulp. So we'll just dump it in. And now we'll just fold that in, get it nice and mixed throughout. These carrot pulp will add lots of moisture to these muffins, as well as a lot of nice good fiber. You don't want to overmix too much because the spelt flour tends to lose its elasticity when you overmix. So it's okay if there's a couple clumps of carrots. Okay, so let's grab the muffin tin. And now we'll spoon the muffin mixture into the tin, leaving it about 3/4 of the way from the top. So we'll just spoon the mixture in. Kind of have to gauge it. Feel free to use your fingers to do the extra little push there. Nobody's gonna know. Now for a little artistic touch, you can add a couple of ground crushed chopped walnuts to the top just to make them a little pretty. You don't need many, just a little bit. It's more for looks than anything else. This also is a good way to let people know that there are nuts in the muffins. So if there's a nut allergy, if you're bringing it to a brunch or a potluck or to school, people will know that if they have nut allergy, there's nuts in here and they should avoid it. So don't forget to set your timer. And while these muffins bake, you can sit down, relax, and enjoy as your house fills with delicious smells of baking. So our muffins are ready. We'll turn off our timer and pull them out of the oven and see if they're cooked. It smells amazing in here. So the best way to tell if they're cooked is to insert a toothpick into the center and see if it comes out clean. So we'll pick one of the biggest muffins and we'll stick it in. I like to stick it underneath something so you can kind of hide the hole. Pull it out. Perfect. So now I'll bring them over here, and you want to let them cool for a couple minutes because they're quite stifling when they come out of the oven. But then you can serve them up with a little bit of style and watch your fingers in a cute little basket or something. Be a nice way to welcome someone to the neighborhood or into your condo. So here they are. These are the carrot molasses muffins made with carrot pulp from juicing. I hope you enjoy them.